ASMR Classic 1. Yeah, I think that's us. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for your kind words and comments since last time. And I've been a bit sort of, preoccupied with other things. Oh, by the way, yes, this is quite good who did this. If you're ever in London, celebrates the writers' pubs, and can I get that into the phone? Where they kind of all used to hang out. People like Charles Dickens, of course, Virginia Woolf, who we're going to talk about in a moment, George Orwell, who we might also mention in a moment. It was good fun. And of course, and a few drinks as well. Oh, and they've not paid me to do this. It's just quite good. So, I thought I might share with you, talking of classical writers, this that I bought the other day from our local London Bookshop. Oh, I'm going to show you this as well. Perhaps not this time, not this dirty book. It's a bit of a clean, isn't it? But this pen, it's a moleskin pen, but it kind of half digitizes your writing. So if you're interested, please let me know in the comments, and I'll do a little video about that as well. I'll move this out of the way. This is what I wanted to share with you today. As you can see, it's from our local independent bookshop. And although some of the big chains are great, I always try and go to a local bookshop if I can. And I know it's so much easier to buy online, isn't it? But even so, I will sometimes buy online and go to a bookshop. In fact, one of these books I did just that. I thought I'd share these with you briefly. Sorry, my cold's back again. Move this out of the way. It's a nice sound, isn't it? And then these two books, quite interesting. I bought this. I've not read it yet, but of course it won the Booker Prize 2024 by Samantha Harvey. It's called Orbital. And I'm so old. I grew up as a little kid during the space race and NASA and the Apollo projects. And actually Apollo, I'm not that old, I don't remember Gemini or Mercury, but anything to do with space. I kept a scrapbook when I was a child of Apollo 13. Strange child that I was. I wonder what happened to it. It's around somewhere, I'm sure. But I thought I'd get this because, excuse me, Samantha Harvey's an interesting person as well. Obviously it's, currently I think it's in a bestseller list, so can't read it to you, but I thought I'd share bits with you. Life on our planet as you've never seen it before. 6 astronauts rotating their spacecraft above the Earth. They are there to collect meteorological data and conduct scientific experiments, but mostly they observe. Together they watch our silent blue planet. Endless shows of spectacular beauty witnessed in a single day. Yet although separated from the world, they cannot escape its constant pull. News reaches them of the death of a mother, and with it comes thoughts of returning home. The fragility of human life fills their conversations, their fears, their dreams. So far from Earth, they have never felt more part or protective of it. They begin to ask, what is life without Earth? And what is Earth without humanity? Quite a question, isn't it? I'm always minded if I think it was Apollo 8, the astronaut, took that first shot of the Earth from space. And I think he quoted from the book of Genesis, but he also commented on how small it looked and how actually insignificant we all are when you consider the vastness of space. So kind of an interesting one. Samantha Harvey, I'll just tell you a bit about her because it's in here. Samantha Harvey is the author of the novels The Wilderness, All Is Song, Dear Thief and the Western Wind, and a work of non-fiction, The Shapeless Unease, A Year of Not Sleeping. Wow. Her work has been longlisted for the Booker Prize and shortlisted for the James Tate Black Award, the Woman's Prize, the Guardian First Book Award, and the Walter Scott Prize. That's what I'm showing off, isn't it? How good is that? The Wilderness was awarded the Barry Trask Prize. She's a tutor on the MA course in creative writing at Bath Spa University. How brilliant is that? All those awards. I'm guessing Bath Spa University is kind of quite busy there. Their MA course in creative writing may well fill up next year. But again, it's been very well reviewed. The Guardian, an uplifting book in every sense. iNews, ingenious, a short yet exquisite read. New Statesman, my goodness, this novel is beautiful. The Daily Mail, a gorgeous novel. And the Financial Times said luminous. Mark Haddon, one of the most beautiful novels I've read in a very long time. So there you go. Orbital. As I've not read it yet, but I shall do. I think it was also quite contentious at some point. It got when it first came out. I'm not sure if it was before the Booker Prize. I think I've got this right. There was quite a lot of criticism of it. And then it went on to win the Booker. So, Yabu and Stux. So, Orbital, Samantha Harvey. And then this is kind of doubly relevant. Because I got this because I had something popped up and I had somewhere online, social media, for short courses, creative writing courses, at Oxford University, in Oxford obviously, and they were quite expensive. As you know, we're trying to get to 1,000 followers on this channel, so we can start to write some ASMR drama and things. So I'm trying to prepare myself for it in all sorts of ways. Assuming we get to 1,000 and then we can monetize it. I think that's how it works on YouTube. To be honest, you probably know better than I do. But I saw that one of the recommended books for this part-time course was this by David Lodge, The Art of Fiction. Now I kind of knew David Lodge, or knew of him, because I'm from Birmingham. And he was associated with Birmingham University for a long time. So he was an academic as well as an author. In fact, let's, I think there's a little bit about him up here somewhere. Again, I haven't read this, although I think it's more the sort of book that you'll dip into. But this is it, The Art of Fiction. I think he wrote it in the 70s. Let's have a look. 1992 he wrote it, okay. 70s at all. But David Lodge's novels include Changing Places, Small World, Nice Work, Thinks Author, Death Sentence, and most recently, A Man of Parts. He's also written several stage plays and screenplays and several books of literary criticism, including The Art of Fiction, this one, Consciousness, and The Novel, and The Year of Henry James. So, the other slightly sad addendum to the fact that I saw this, and then actually this is what I bought it on. I bought an e-book version of it, and then suddenly thought, because of the nature of it, I wanted a hard copy. I mean, I love the internet and all that it does, and that's why I'm here, of course, talking to you now. But there is still a bit of me that loves the notion of a physical book. And it's not like they're massively heavy or big. So this book is also, I think, if you're a writer, and I think I've got to add myself, I think I am a writer. I've written 4 plays, 3 books. An adaptation of A Christmas Carol is doing extremely well. I mean, not so well that we don't need to get to 1,000 listens to Muddy Dice. 1,000 viewers, sorry. Followers. Oh, come on, Nick. Not so well, but I think the more I pity to myself, the better. I had some great quotes from J.R.R. Tolkien. He who wrote Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Flies, that's another one. And The Hobbit, etc. And actually, even though he was a big brain, born in South Africa, spent all his time teaching classics, I think it was, certainly languages in university, mainly in Oxford University. And he still considered his writing part-time until it was, I think, was it R.C. Sheridan? One of the famous writers at the time actually said to Tolkien, you could perhaps publish this. Tolkien was very surprised. And then Lord of the Rings was born, and The Hobbit and all the others, and the Silmarillion and stuff. So it's interesting. So this is kind of slightly academic, but I've read some of his novels, David Lodge. And I'll read this to you here. In this entertaining and enlightening collection, David Lodge considers the art of fiction under a wide range of headings, drawing on writers as diverse as Henry James, Martin Amis, Jane Austen and James Joyce. Looking at ideas such as the intrusive author, suspense, and the epistolary novel, magic realism and symbolism, and illustrating each topic with a passage taken from a classic or a modern novel. David Lodge makes the richness and variety of British and American fiction accessible to the general reader. He provides essential reading for students, aspiring writers, and anyone who wants to understand how fiction works. The Los Angeles Times wrote, "It's wonderful to be clued up in some of the magic tricks of the trade, the points of view, the stream of consciousness, the use of names, the sense of place, time shift and intertextuality." And The Guardian, Lodge has the knack of wearing his scholarship lightly. That's a great line, isn't it? One finds here precisely that expansive, humane wisdom which is so sorely lacking in much narrow-minded modern criticism. He gets to the bottom of things, telling us why we read fiction. Admirers will find in the art of fiction concentrated essence of Lodge. Another great review, isn't it? And it looks at various classics. Yes, there's his fiction, non-fiction books. Yeah, this fiction. I've read a couple of them years ago, Small World, I think. I might look at all of them. 1992. To John Blackwell, genius among editors. The Writing Game, Act 2, Scene 2. And you can see here, I'll bend it back a little bit so you can see. I don't mind. The preface, which we'll look at, and then beginning, Jane Austen, Ford Madox Ford, the intrusive author, George Eliot and E.M. Forster, suspense, Thomas Hardy. Oh, we go through them all. Michael Frayn, Salinger, Virginia Woolf, interesting, James Joyce, Charlotte Bronte, Martin Amis, Malcolm Bradbury, of course, which is interesting. Anyway, that's how I won't go through them. I nearly did. Imagining the Future, George Orwell. Oops, where are we? There we go. D.H. Lawrence, gosh, allegory. Samuel Butler, Updike, James, Sugar, William Cooper, William Golding, Samuel Beckett. So you can see 1991, the poet James Fenton contributed a weekly comment to the book pages of The Independent on Sunday entitled Ars Poetica, the title of a famous treatise on poetry by the Roman poet Horace. Each week Fenton printed a short poem or an extract from a poem and wrote a commentary decided to throw light on both the text and some aspect of the art of poetry in general. Early in 1991, the literary editor of the newspaper, Blake Morrison, rang me up and asked if I'd be interested in writing something similar about prose fiction when James Fenton had finished his stint. Usually I take time to consider journalistic proposals, and more often than not I say no in the end. But on this occasion I decided to say yes almost before Blake had finished his pitch to me. For nearly 30 years, between 1960 and 1987, I was an academic as well as a novelist, teaching English literature at Birmingham University. Over that time I published several books of literary criticism, mainly concerned with novels and the novel. And for many of those years I offered a course called Form in Fiction. After taking early retirement from my university post in 1987, I found that I had little inclination or incentive to go on writing criticism for an essentially academic audience, but I felt that I still had things to say on the art of fiction and the history of the novel that might be of interest to a more general reading public, and sensed that a weekly newspaper column might provide an ideal platform. So, I won't go all the way through this because it's quite long, but this is how he started. So these are his columns, but he also says that he added quite a lot else to it, other pieces. So I'm going to spend some time looking at this. I think if you're not careful, and if you write, you'll probably know what I mean, you can kind of over-intellectualise writing. I still spend so much time deciding whether I want to write on my computer, or on my iPad, or maybe longhand, or on that digital book I was just showing you earlier. I should just get on and do it, shouldn't I, really? Yeah. Another little sad PS to this is that we lost David Lodge. He passed away, I think he was in his 80s, just a few days ago, after I'd ordered this. It's quite sad. Having said that, a good life lived. That's got to be worth it, hasn't it? So, two classics on that literary book crawl. Let me know if you want to know any more details about that. I can put you in. Oh, it's got the address there, hasn't it? LondonLiteraryPubCrawl.com. I was going to say I can put you in touch with it, but I'll probably end it here. I hope you found that interesting at least and enjoyable, and even if you're not a writer, I hope the ASMR element's working for you. As I've mentioned endlessly, I first got into ASMR when I had COVID, and even now I still listen every night. I drift off to sleep listening to ASMR channels. John Butler, he's an interesting chap. He doesn't whisper, but his voice is very relaxing. So thank you so much for staying with me and listening and watching. And if you're new here, please press the subscribe button, as it were, down here somewhere. And if you've got any comments, I always answer comments. It's lovely to hear from you. And again, thanks so much for your time. And I shall see you next time. Have a lovely, relaxing time. Most important, that relaxation. Leisure. Yeah. I think it was Samuel Johnson said, the greatest treasure any man can have is his own time. He knew a bit, did Dr. Samuel Johnson.